Okay. I think I've shared the link everywhere. All right. Well, this is the Sunday session. Yeah, this is... yeah. I was going to say it's a threesome, but it's a duo, which is just the normal sum. Alright, I'm going to try and read some of the comments on mine. You read the comments on yours, and we'll see where we go from there. So, 90 Day Finance says, Last Jedi sucks. I see him comment this everywhere. Alex Beau says, apparently you're muted, Beau. Oh, I know why Beau's muted. This is what I have an issue with. I have to take my headphones out for people to hear you on my Sunday sessions. Alright. I'll turn my volume up. And okay, that's better. I think say hello, Beau. Test everyone.
Hello,
for Beau.
Beau. Testy. Test 1, 2.
Woo! Okay, all right. Now the chat's filling up. Hello, everyone. Thank you for jumping in. Chris James Craig has his Q&A up on Lux as well. Fantastic.
I wish I had an air horn button.
Kyle Leon says, Lloyd, what's up? Oh, I'm so glad to have you all in the chat, guys. I've missed you all. Do you know what? Even though it's only been a week since my last Sunday session, because I felt like every Sunday session, when anyone would talk about this project, I had to be all secretive, and it felt like I can't. I feel like I've just had a massive hey guys, I'm free. I've got out of jail and I can talk about things now.
I know. It's all that time of because I'm getting some people in here asking about the treasure hunt, and it's all those times when you get things in the treasure hunt and you couldn't tell people. I really wanted to tell people that you wanted to look at the creator of the Facebook group, and he was the guy that created UV light, and you would look at his social media, you'd go into his profile, and you'd go into more of a rabbit hole there. But you couldn't tell people that because you're I want to get into the treasure hunt too. You kind of just so many times I'm look at the Facebook group.
Yeah, that was the thing. So obviously the treasure hunt, we can explain it all in a little much longer detailed video at another time. But essentially it wasn't just about the direct clues that we were putting up as on that main page of 122124.co or in the source code of that page. The other things that people needed to look for were things like the admin of, like you said, of the LUX group. Yes. He was John William Ritter, the guy who discovered UV light. So that was a clue there, and from there and there's some other things scattered within that would take you further.
Yeah, you go into his profile and look at some of his posts and photos and stuff, and there was so much to do, and like you said, you couldn't talk to anyone about this because you wanted them to kind of go in this rabbit hole. So, it's kind of, like you said, it's kind of good to get out now and go, hey, this is Lux. I'm excited to tell everyone about it. So,
Brazen Magic says, church is in service. Yes. This has become more of a church, the Sunday session.
Should we do a hymn?
By the way, so in the stream, guys, just to give you a heads up, I'm going to be showing you anything you want to know about Lux, from pretty much the method to what I think is some of the best stuff you're gonna want to perform with Lux and how to make it as good as possible. So we're just going to wait a few more minutes for more people to jump in, but yeah, we're going to give you basically the lowdown, because what we figured is that this isn't about the secret. And me and Beau were talking about this just before the stream went live. Mm-hmm. This wasn't intended to fool anyone, but for magicians. Me and Beau, right, we're both pretty certain that this wasn't going to be a fooler, but this was going to be something like a pure smoke, where you'd watch it and you'd go, oh, right, okay, great, now I know what to do with it. But we've realised that loads of people think this is a special type of ink or other methods. And then that sort of hindered people's understanding of how much can be done with this. So we're going to sort of give you the whole rundown.
Yeah, that was the thing. A lot of people thought the $75 just for a fancy pen, but it's more than that. So, yeah, like you said, we thought we can't give away. Well, we thought I don't need to repeat exactly what you just said. Let's go on.
I spelled your name wrong in the text, by the way. Someone said I rightly so pointed out that I'm an idiot. So there's that.
Adam Wilbur says Lux from the legend himself. Adam Wilbur is in the Facebook video.
Adam is the legend.
Yeah,
Adam's the legend.
Yeah. Can I kick you off this stream and get Adam on?
I think you should.
Facebook
I probably
video.
should.
Because
Is the legend.
in all fairness,
Adam's the legend.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm echoing.
Can I kick you off this stream and get Adam on?
I think you should.
I probably should. Whoa.
Because
There's a window with audio coming in. This could be that was entirely my fault.
I was like, where am I? Because I literally just went and checked my stuff. I'm like, oh.
But I'm happy to blame you for it.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. Yeah. Well.
So should we give it 4 more minutes and then we'll just start opening up
yes.
everything about this? So just give it people like till 10 past and then we'll go cray.
Cool. Another 5 minutes. So everyone, Lloyd, did you go through your surf today? Let's start there. Let's start some small talk.
Okay, small talk for 4 minutes, and in the meantime, I'll just hold this for people to just look at if they want to.
No, I'll just do this, Lloyd. There you go.
Oh, I'll just dangle it there. I did not go for my surf. I went to a food festival and ate food from all around the world.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, how was your weekend? What have you done?
What have I done? Yesterday, I went and shot a video for an upcoming Murphy's thing, and then just hung out with some family. It was my mother-in-law's birthday, so we went out for lunch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was my mother-in-law's birthday last Sunday.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, we did the same thing. We went for like a little picnic. All right, 3 minutes to go. Get your questions in.
Everyone just left the chat now.
I'm very aware that people are annoyed by the... I like 90 Day Finance's comment says, British people love calling everyone a legend. I got Pete to turn a coffee once and he said, you're a legend, mate. What's the equivalent of that in America? What do people say in the States?
Yeah, what do you say when someone's...
You're a boss?
No, I was going to say you're a lad, but
that's a British thing. Lads.
Lads. I want to get into the questions because there's so many questions popping up on there.
All right, okay. Well, look, I think there's enough people here now. It'll pick up as we go.
Yeah.
Should we officially start the LUX AMA?
You do the intro. You got this. Go.
I'll let you intro it.
What's on, guys?
I have a feeling that I'm going to be a right chatterbox this week.
Well, you know what you have to do? Before we get into any of the reveals and methods for LUX, you need to like and share this video.
Terrible titles appear on screen with a self-working mental magic trick. Like and I'll let you intro it because I think I am going to end up just chatting.
No, that's kind of what I wanted. This is all about the. I think you said it best when you said when we posted the trailer. We thought it was kind of self-explanatory when people see it go, oh, this is the cool utility tool that is LUX.
Yep.
But that's why we decided to do the Q&A because there's some things that we need to clean up from a few people and need to talk about that it's not just the UV pen, but it's actually the light, and we're going to go into a few things today.
Okay,
is that
all
a
right.
cool thing? We're going to clear up some badness. I started yabbering then too, so I think I was just as bad as you.
All right, well, so first of all, I think we have to say thank you to everyone in making this the most successful Murphy's Magic product launch of Murphy's history. You guys are absolutely crazy. Thank you for going to all the magic shops and asking them in advance to get it in before it, sells out everywhere. We've just speaking to the people behind the scenes at Murphy's who do who've been there for 20 years. They said the last time they'd seen sales comparable to this was the True Astonishments project from Paul Harris. So this surpassed anything we've done in recent times, like Cognito and Quantum. This is just, we anticipated it would do rather big numbers, but in this instance we ordered more than we normally would in advance, but thinking that those would be bought in a few months. We ended up in the first day having to airship 1,000 something extra, and then another 1,000, and then more, and then more and more, and then it's just it's mental. So this, the most successful Murphy's product launch we've ever done. So it looks like that people enjoyed taking part in the treasure hunt and seeing the early clues and the teasers. And we just want to say thank you first of all for all of that. I know there was a few people, some naysayers that didn't like what they thought felt like hype campaigns. But I can't remember the last time I ever seen any sort of marketing campaign where there wasn't naysayers.
But I guess each into their own. Like everyone has their own performance style too. Like there's going to be people out there that go, I don't want to perform UV ink drinks, and that's totally fine. Like everyone has their own performance style.
A couple of people as well were, I mean like a handful, 2 or 3 were annoyed that The quotes were like, some people said like best trick of the decade, or this is it's like a new genre of magic. And because it's not their style of trick, they completely disagree and they think that people are idiots to say that. I can't help what quotes people give for this. I'm sorry.
yeah. You just show people and say, what do you want to say about it? And then they tell you.
Yeah, it's kind of how quotes work. Yeah. And Craig Petty made a good point, because Craig gave it like an amazing quote, said like, for him, best trick of the decade, possibly the best trick of all time. And someone said, well, you're just friends. And then Craig pointed out on the Magic Cafe that if that was the case, then the last trailer I made for a different trick, which he's named in the cafe, he said it was the worst thing I've ever done and hates it, and he even made an honest trailer about it and genuinely like panned it with 0% and threw it in the trash. So yeah, and that within the last few months. So if anyone thought Craig's quote was just because I'm a friend, then yeah, no, he's honest with me. But anyway, yeah, which is good. I just want to say thank you. I've never experienced any. I've been a part of a lot of things, and I've never experienced this craziness. It's why I've got my phone's blown up with messages and congratulations from everyone, and I haven't replied to people yet, because there's not a really. It's so much. I sort of need to make a video midweek next week or Monday and just say thank you and everything. Yeah, great. Well, yeah. We'll get another little video to say thanks to everyone and stuff. Did you want to start jumping into some questions? The one that's popping up the most is refills about the marker. Right, let's get into the questions. So, I'm just going to straight up say it. Yeah. LUX, when you buy LUX, the reason it's $75 is because this is the gimmick. There are some hardcore electronics going on inside here that allow you to warp UV light to what you want to do. So, I've seen some people where they thought that it was like a double cross thing where you're paying $75 for a pen that you need a refill for. You can use any UV ink. I have a bunch of UV pens. I bought these cheap ones off Amazon. These will work. I bought these ones, which I don't fully recommend because they use xylol. So if you're going to do any stuff on your skin, like look out for the chemical called xylol, because it can irritate some people. Most people, none at all. But these pens that come with it, they don't have xylol in, so there's no irritations. But you can use any UV ink. You can use any UV ink. The pen, you can just throw it. It doesn't matter about refills. The only thing you'll ever need to refill are the batteries. So they should last about 6 months of performance time. And the batteries are 4 of these little. Let's see if I can show it on the camera. Watch batteries. I'll show it up close. Oh, yeah. And you put them in a little pack like that. They come in like that. And I think they're called... George is in the chat. Hi, George. They're called LR41s. They're like crazy cheap. You can just buy tons of them off Amazon. And then it'll last you like 10 years. So that's the only refill you need is batteries. In terms of... special refills, these are just normal pens. The secret is built into this. Yes. Does that help answer your questions on that, everyone? Yeah, what someone just asked too, I'm clumsy, so if I dropped it, how durable is it? I've had mine for, I don't know, the first prototype I had, which I ended up using to the point where, and George can confirm this in the chat, I actually was using that in the trailer, and then I realised that it was the first prototype, and it wasn't as bright as the new ones because we put a lot more work into it. So I had that for 18 months plus. Yeah, so it's lasted in your pocket, been thrown about. It's lasted with my kid sucking on it. Yeah. As like a teething object. It's lasted me. Well, we're not, as Murphy's Magic, we're not recommending to give this to your kid as a teething. No, but I'm clumsy. That thing had a beating for 18 months and it was still working in the trailer. So I can't say that it's got like a Apple style 4.1 meter drop resistance that doesn't crack, but this thing you can beat the shit out of it. And it's gonna, pardon my French, but it's gonna work. So yeah, you're good there. The one thing I'll note is that the only thing I've ever had to do is sometimes because it unscrews, the batteries come out here. And I'm clutching at straws to try and find things that sometimes I need to make sure it's screwed on tight. But that's just make sure you put it back together. Yep. Yeah, I guess that just comes down, you're screwing together and just keeping an eye on that. What are the limitations in daylight? Like,
You were just using it then on your hand with me, with the light on while we were testing for this. It looks great.
Okay, so sorry, Rand Bulger said audio levels rose after all the build-up. So can anyone let me know what's the issue? Is it Beau is too quiet? Is it I'm too quiet? Just let me know and I'll try and fix those.
Yeah.
So in daylight, okay. So this is the reason why I was using the the original. Why I mentioned that the original one wasn't as bright. We actually delayed this project about 6 months to make sure this would work in daylight. Because the very, very, very first version I got, you can always see the UV in daylight, but it wasn't that strong originally. So we delayed the entire project to make sure it works in daylight. Now I will say, California, height of summer, noon, direct sunlight, you're gonna be able to make out the UV, but it's not gonna be perfect. However, if you have it on the palm of your hand and you're shining it there and the sun's on it, it's not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
If you turn your hand upside down and create a small amount of shadow, it's gonna look just like normal. Yeah. It's just about what I find is when I'm performing in sunlight, I look for the sun and I turn my back on it and make a small cast of a shadow. No problem. But we specifically knew that this was going to be used all day, all night scenarios. So we did stop production to put more focus into making it a lot brighter and actually sort of change the technology we use within this to make it brighter.
Correct. I concur.
Cool. So many people in the comments. I don't know whether to go right back to the top and start going through them.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through them all as well. Yeah, I was getting a lot of people saying that they've seen it at Blackpool in the light. Mr. E said he saw it at Blackpool in the light and there was no issues.
Yeah, there's no issues.
Any other questions, keep throwing them in. But I've got one here, maybe just a basic one. Any possibility of a UV double-cross pen like with Magic Smith? To stamp your space.
So we didn't include a double cross stamp in this because that's not our product, and it would be unfair to do that. But I'd be totally open to doing this, to doing like a collaboration or having if Magic Smith, you know, I think he's probably going to be at Magic Live. We could chat there.
Yep.
So nothing like that. But there's some amazing stuff on the tutorial, and one of the things that Hav does is ashes on palm.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that with this. Now Hav just colours in his finger before he performs. And then dabs them. But what I've done, I can't get it here, is I have a thumb tip with a sponge ball in there, and you can buy bottles of UV ink off Amazon for like $10 and fill the sponge ball up. So you put that in your pocket, and now when you're performing, you can just dab some on your finger and load someone. The beautiful thing about LUX is you don't do this in the effect if you don't want to. So you can do this so far ahead because like with ashes on palm, you have to do the effect right there and then, or they'll spot the ash.
Yeah.
But with LUX, like say this is the perfect example, right? You do a card trick. You turn over a double like that. Turn over a double. You say hold your hand out. You place the double in their hand. When you're grabbing their hand to place the card down to that position their hand, you stamp them.
Yep.
Right with your finger with the UV ink because it will just transfer like that, especially off the sponge ball. So you've done the trick. The card changes, big reaction. You can step back. You can create like physical distance between you and your audience, and you can wait 10 minutes.
Yeah, I love the idea of it being like even a hypnotism routine, like dabbing it on their hand, get them putting their hands together, holding it tight, doing like the locking fingers, all that kind of stuff. And there's that time delay of them using their hands, playing with it, looking at their hands, even maybe the counting the fingers, forgetting the number 7, that type of stuff. And then imagine your eyes visually impairing and seeing something disappear. Yeah. And you go that extra step. And they've been looking at their hands the whole time.
That's it. But the beautiful thing about this is when you start doing it with that, you can do it with multiple spectators. Yeah. So what Hav does, because he doesn't show them that he's going to stamp a hand to make it vanish to transpose, he takes the pen, he draws a little circle on their hand, and then he just says, let me just make sure that you can see that brightly. So it looks like the same smudge they're going to see, but they associate it with coming off a pen nib, which is really genius thinking from Javier there.
Javier's a legend.
But what's good about that is now, if you're performing to a group of people, you stamp one person as you're doing a card trick to them, right? Mm-hmm. They're gone now. You can do anything you want. You can come back to them later. You can just do some other stuff. Or you can just go to the person over here straight away. You can go straight, like, okay, I'm going to show you something. Because as far as they're concerned, there's no UV pen in play right now. You've done a card trick. Now you can go to this person. They're never going to see that stamp on their hand because it's UV. So it's not like ashes on palm where they're going to see it. You have to do it immediately. You can have anything you want. Now you can draw a dot on the back of the hand, smudge it in so they can see it, which will now make it look like a finger smudge. Now you perform LUX. They do it all. They shine the light. It vanishes. You say, look, let's use someone. Look, let's use you. Have I drawn on you with that pen? Can you confirm that? Yeah, they would sign it in a court of law. The other person then shines it on them. It appears. Game over, man. Game over.
It's so good.
And like you said, you can put it on their forehead as you move them on their. I've seen people do like double cross on people's necks, but you have to perform it before they notice.
Yeah.
But with this, you can stamp them with your fingertip without any special requirements, way in advance. So I love that. There's some real beautiful like exploits you can do with this.
Mm-hmm. People are asking how long is the tutorial if we're learning all these cool different variations and methods.
I think it's about 2 hours. I have the rough cut of it on my computer, I think. Let me just double check.
Cool. So we have someone saying 5 hours. Can't wait.
It is James. 2 hours and 20 minutes, but I think there's going to be more added to it Monday. And if George is in the chat, he'll confirm or deny that. But currently it's 2 hours, 20 minutes. But this thing, I mean, the problem with the problem is, we say in the beginning that you can do thousands of tricks with LUX, and it's true because, like, you can't just do a book test with LUX. You can do multiple types of book tests with LUX. So it's not like you can just do one plot or one or two plots with LUX, like moving ink and lottery predictions. Each one of those, each plot in Magic that LUX works with, you can do multiple variations of. So it's just so much. So what we do in the tutorial is that we just sort of say, this is the basic version. Because once you understand how it works, which we're going to tell you all now, once you understand that, then you know how to go off and make things more crazy.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, I'm getting an echo now. Is that audio still coming through? No, it's gone now. Cool. Because a lot of people are saying it's just limited by your imagination. X is just the starter of the chestnut. Can you use a coloured UV pen, like green, red, etc., or should we just stick to the normal?
Do you know what? I haven't tried a different colour UV pen, only because I didn't know if it would. To think about it now, like, would it be invisible on your hand? Well, look, should we just show everyone sort of how it works?
Yeah. Because the next question I was going to ask is people want to know more about the pen, like if the spectator pushes the button.
Right. Do you guys just want to know how it works?
Yeah, go on.
Go on then. Let's drop a like on our videos for us. Help get the engagement up. Drop a like on the video if you want to know how this works, and we're just going to show you straight up right now. And whilst you do that, let's play some music.
I was actually going to sing a song, and I was like, I don't want to get copyright struck.
Yeah.
Because that would happen because I'm such a good singer. Anyway, go on.
All right, okay, let's just do this. So let me make sure I can see my camera. So the way this works is, like we said, no special ink. So somebody from the chat give us a word. Oh, actually, I'll just write anything. Let me draw a smiley face on my palm. Smiley face, okay for everyone?
Yeah, smiley face, but with like a cross for one of the eyes, I guess.
My palm's already sweat. A cross for one of the eyes.
Yeah.
Let me see if that looks good. Okay, so what I'm doing now is when I hold the button down, I'll see the setting mode in the pen. Can everyone see that?
Kind of. Yeah, another
when I press the button, see that light changes to green?
Mm-hmm.
And now it changes to blue. And now it's going to change to flashing red, and then flashing green, flashing blue. These are how you choose the modes. So I've just chosen the solid red mode. When I hold it down, that will set it. Now LUX is set, and this is just to show you the alternating mode, to basically give you an idea of how LUX works. So when I shine the light, you can see on my palm, I'm doing this in reverse, there's nothing there, right? When I turn it off now, this is just for the alternating mode, and now I turn it back on, now you'll see UV. I'm doing everything backwards. Can you see?
Yeah, of your own thing. Yeah.
So this is, for example, it's so hard to do on my palm.
You can still see that's showing up well on the camera.
Yeah, and the worst thing is it shows up worse on camera. In real life it pops, but on camera it doesn't pop. So every time I turn this mode on and off, it goes between UV and no UV, right? So in the case of double cross, so that means that you don't have to use a special pen. I'm going to change it to the double cross mode now, so you can all see, which is the flash in red mode. And by the way, it saves the modes that you're on. So there's red, green, blue, flash in red. So I set that. So now that's in flash in red mode. When this, I got a cross drawn on the back of my hand. When the spectator presses that to turn it on, if you can see this.
Yeah, you can see that.
So after 8 to 10 seconds, it's going to slowly fade into normal UV. Where am I going? So see how that faded?
Yeah. That's sick.
Let me do that a bit better for you because I'm back to front. So that's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so after 8 to 10 seconds, that's going to slowly fade off. So I say about now, it fades. And then wherever I move, or the spectator moves the light, after 8 to 10 seconds, it'll fade back in. So if I keep it on the same spot like this, after, again, 8 to 10 seconds, it'll fade back in slowly.
Okay. So this looks so good on camera too.
So the same with my
Smiley face?
smiley face. Again, this is in loop-in mode, so this will just go over and over. So watch, 3, 2, 1, it'll vanish. And I'm not doing anything. They're doing all the work.
Mm-hmm.
Watch, just like that, it vanishes. And then after another 8 to 10 seconds, it'll come back. And this is just the loop-in mode that you use for like a sort of double cross effect. So I think the timing should be about now. And it comes back.
Which is so good because a lot of questions were, what if you wanted the spectator to do it and everything's examinable? So everything is handled by the spectator.
Oh yeah, I mean, everything. So what's nice is you can say to someone, name a simple shape. So name a simple shape.
A circle.
Circle, right? And then I can say, go ahead, draw a circle, take the light, and do it. Because what you can do is, you can put a circle on the palm of your hand, a triangle on the back of your hand, a cross on your forearm, a square here, a bunch of simple shapes. And then whatever one they say, like say the circle was on my palm, I would say, go ahead and draw a circle on the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
And so now you can do moving ink effects with named shapes. And the beauty is, because of the different modes, you can prove you have no ink anywhere else on you. So it takes it further again. So it's not just that it appears, but also they really could have named anything.
Just so good. We're getting people asking if the 80-second timer stops when they turn it off. So say if they push the button to turn it off and turn it back on, it just to change the mode, you need to reset the mode.
So the mode, after 90 seconds, this goes into like sleep mode to save the battery. Every time you turn it back on, it'll stay in the same mode. So it'll remember which mode you've chosen. And then so when you perform, you make sure you want to go into that mode, it'll happen. But it actually doesn't matter because when you turn it on, it looks like you just turn in, like, look, how suspicious does this look?
Yeah, you're making sure
That's just me cycling through the modes. They can't see anything, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it'll remember the mode that you choose before you perform, and then after 90 seconds it'll go into sleep mode, just in case that you forget it in your pocket and you run your batteries down. So it was a fail-safe we put in to make sure that this was like ultra practical and doesn't fail you when you least expect it. The one question that I've seen in the Facebook group, which is getting a lot of comments in there, and interesting comments and good solutions, is how do I justify this? It's the biggest non-issue in everything to do with LUX.
Well, yeah, I just saw a comment just before saying this is perfect for nowadays with hand sanitizer and keeping hands clean. It makes sense to have a UV pen to make sure things are clean around you, make sure your hand's clean.
Yeah, that's a great solution.
Yeah.
I say, yo, I'm a magician. I'll have cards and rubber bands and stuff with me.
Yeah.
I just say I keep this on my keys. Like this is the one from the box. I took the links off my one, so my one is on my keys, and I've just shortened it. It's just a pen light. It's just a UV light, and you can use it to like do fake banknotes. You can use it to like show up out on your passport and thing to see if like things are legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's ever gone like, hey, that's a special UV light, because when I was creating this, I looked through like every type of UV torch and pen. So you can get things like this, which is a UV torch built into a pen. You can get like ones that look like little, like proper powerful torches, like made out of metal, like thick barrels with loads of little UV lights in there. I wanted the most inconspicuous basic looking thing. Like the idea is that this looks cheap.
Yeah.
This looks cheap. The cheaper, and no one realizes. No spectators realize or ever think that there's literally a little computer board in here. There's a PCB in here that has 6 different modes that control with multiple different lights inside it built in. Because look at it. Yeah. And I think that's why some people are like, hey, $75, because they think it's a special ink, and then they look at that because it just looks so. It's one button. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it was really like, yeah, that's the only thing that I've seen, and I realized,
Well, I think the proof is kind of in the pudding as well. No one expects it's going to be the light, because when we put the trailer up, people thought it was the UV pen that was doing the magic. Not
everyone. I'm not saying everyone was fooled at all.
Yeah.
But a lot. That's the comment I get a lot. Is, as you see in the comments, is this special ink? And it's just not. It's just UV ink.
Yeah.
Because all the power, and I cannot believe that we got this under $100.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it.
It's so good.
I kind of want to take. I'm looking. I have a bunch that I had taken apart somewhere, and there's literally like a little circuit board and stuff. Like it's hardcore. Like for me, you know.
Yeah, it's like a Tesla under there.
yeah. It's pretty gnarly. Yes. So what? I mean, any other? There's so many questions.
Yeah. I'm getting one saying, how long does the ink remain on the skin? It's like just a pen. So if your spectator's doing this, it's going to rub off eventually. Like.
Yeah. So actually, I only find it comes off after a shower. So I can wear it all day, or I can have it on someone's hand all day. Mm-hmm. And you can do anything. But once I've had a shower or I've washed my hands vigorously, if I've loaded someone on their arm, or I've drawn on someone's arm, even myself, I've had a shower and like forgot to scrub there, and it's still on. So it's pretty good. You haven't got any worries at a gig. If you gig, what I love is that you can stamp people right at the start of a gig. Yeah. And then perform this later at the evening. Yeah. Like it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. But so I see the question. What was my favorite effect on the project?
I just thought of that as that'd be a cool routine, just stamping everyone before and then having multiple people with certain people in the room with.
Well, what's beautiful is say you go in and you shake hands with people. Every time you shake hands, you're just going to stamp them with your finger. Yeah. Then when it comes to performing later on, and this is the thing, because there's no like ashes on the palm or any visible ink. Mm-hmm. This is the whole night. They have no idea. You can perform it to one person. You can make a massive deal. Say you stamp everyone at the party. Say I've seen someone on Facebook does smaller parties, like 15 people. You can stamp everyone in a 15-person party, or if you're out with your mates, you can stamp every one of your mates or their mates. So you can stamp everyone. Now at the end of the night when they're begging you, because if you're not at a gig and they're like, come on, please do some magic. Everyone's like, do some magic. I'll do one thing. I'm just gonna do one thing, and that's it. And then you can say, look, before we do this, I want you all to see that there's nothing on you guys, right? Yeah. Or you can draw on one person and then prove everyone else is clean, right? Yeah. So you say, look, before we do this, I'm going to show you there's nothing on you, nothing on any of us. Take the pen and draw a dot on the back of your hand. I don't want to touch you. And then just smudge it in so it's nice and spread. Okay, I don't want to touch you again. Take the UV pen off my keys, or just take my keys. Shine the UV pen so you can all see it. Yeah. Again, I don't want to be here. I might even go in the next room and you can FaceTime me. Yeah. Watch as that vanishes. Boom, it's gone. Pick someone. They pick someone. Okay, shine it in exactly the same spot on the back of their hand, and it slowly appears. Yeah. Finisher. Completely game over.
Yeah, I'm getting that whole thing of like everyone's connected. Even like to the point if you could have make it disappear off that one person's hand and it appears on the 15 people's hands. Jump.
Exactly.
You could run it across. That'd be sick.
Because here's the thing, I'll show everyone, because I'm guessing people want to see this a bit more. So if I go into, it should still be on double cross mode, right? Yeah, okay, deluxe.
Now I'm getting a question. It's like, mate, is this too cheap now? Should you guys have charged more?
It's one of those things. I like my apps. If you see like my apps, they're never like $80 or $60 or $100. I think magic should be accessible, and that's what we tried really hard to do to get this to be accessible. you put the word electronic on any product, and everyone in the comments will agree, any product that has the word electronic on it is normally $100 plus, let alone with what's going on in this. We want everyone... I just don't think good magic should be priced out of people's hands. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But anyway, let me show you guys. So what I mean, so say you do the double cross thing, where it's all in their hands. So, for example, there's a cross on my hand here. It's gonna vanish after like 8 to 10 seconds. So 3, 2, 1, go. Right. So imagine this is all hands off. I drew a cross on my arm earlier, and now I'm gonna make it come back. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see if I got it in the right place even. But watch, it's gonna appear on my arm in 3, 2. Oh, did I actually draw the cross? I can't remember if I drew it. I didn't draw the cross. I didn't draw it.
I was right there. I was like, I'm so excited for this. There, draw cross now.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to draw the cross. Okay. So can you guys see it? Yeah. So let's say this one vanishes. Yep. 3, 2, 1, and it's gone. Boom. Right. Now you'd the spectator would shine it at the person they choose that they want it to appear on. So they shine it here. 3, 2, 1. At this point, everyone freaks out and they drop everything. They're like, ah! Or they're like, what the hell? And their arms start going. After 10 seconds, that's going to vanish, but they're not going to realize. Okay, so it's going to fade out of UV. You time that, and then you say but obviously their hands wouldn't be there, so they wouldn't know. So because they're reacting, you say, and after 10 seconds, really quickly look. Let me just show you. There's no marks on anybody else. There's no marks on any of you. And because you just timed it off, so and the person shining it can do that.
Yeah.
But what Craig Petty does is and I don't know why I didn't think of this, and this is why I realised how stupid I am. He has it jump from the person to him back to them. So when they go to like nightclubs and things like that, because he performs in weddings and gigs, if someone has a UV pen on them or it's UV lights in the nightclub, it doesn't matter because it's ended back up on them.
Yeah. There you go, because that was another question I was about to ask, because people are asking about, what if you're in a nightclub?
Yeah. He just has to go back to them. Or if you're going to do like the voodoo ash effect, where you stamp them beforehand, stamp them, draw on yourself, make it vanish, make it appear on the person. Doesn't matter. It's stuck there. It's left there. Done.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So there's other options as well. You don't have for stamping. I mean, we're just talking about the visual stuff. The mentalism, I think, is stronger with this. The mentalism is way stronger with this. So somebody asked what my favorite routine is. And my favorite routine is a routine from Javier. Has he told you about it?
Maybe. Tell me more.
So you know. I don't know if I've got one around here. Do you know a crossword in a newspaper?
Yes.
Or a word search?
Yep.
So it's just random letters. So he says, take a look at the word search and check that it's blank, which they do. And then he says, take the pen, this UV pen, and mark randomly. So it's not going to ruin the word search, but we'll see where you've marked. So they mark it randomly. And then shine to see the letters you've made. And they say, okay. So they shine it and they marked it 4 times, for example. And he says, now, out of those 4 letters, can you make a word? And they say, yes. He said, can you make multiple words? And they say, yes. I can make 3 words from this. He says, can you think of one of those words? And they say, yeah, I'm thinking of the word. So, for example, let's say they mark L, O, O, and P. And the words they can think of are loop, pool, or polo.
Yeah.
Right? Or plu. Then he says there's no way we could have known in advance which letters you're going to choose. There was no way we would know which word that would make, and however many words you have, because they don't have to say which other versions of the words they had in their head. There's no we don't know what word you were ever going to make from those letters. Is that fair? And the layering in that from them being able to choose from the random letter, it's so deep. And then he can just go, it's crazy, because before we began I wrote one word on my palm, and you can shine the light and it's on your palm.
Yeah.
And it's the magic word, because what you can do, or you can say to them before you begin, I've written one word I've written in UV one word on my hand, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Then you go through the process, and then because you could write it on the front of your hand, you can write polo, loop, pool, or even the funny one, plu, to get a laugh there. So you say, look, I told you before we began, there's a word on my hand. and you can show them and whatever one they're thinking of, you can show it either way because it always sounds like the right thing. But because you can use alternating mode, which just switches between UV and no UV, you can show that all the other hands are empty, and yours is the one that has the word written on it.
So smart. I love that.
It's an idea from Javier. I think it's literally
that's so good.
Genius. And I'll show you guys. I'll tell you my other favorite thing is the visual ambitious rising card.
Oh yeah.
So I'll show you this. So we'll put this. I'll show you exactly how it should be done for spectators.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see my camera. So I'm going to put it into. Where are we? So you see, I'm going to place this into solid green mode.
You're all now hypnotized.
Men in Black.
Yeah.
So now this is in solid green mode, and this is how it looks in the real world. You guys can see. Got lottery tickets and stuff there. I'm going to turn the light on before I begin, and just leave that there. All right, because now the spectators can do everything. So here's what we're going to do. Give me a word, Beau.
I saw pancakes in the chat before when you asked for a random word. So pancakes.
Pancakes. Oh, Lord. So,
I should have said blue.
Pancakes. This is the other thing. This pops in real life, but on camera, I've got a light there. I've got you.
Oh, yeah.
But you guys can all see pancakes?
Yep.
Yep. Or at least you'd recognize the random shapes of the letters and the words, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. Good. So what happens now is this can all be done in their hands because they turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the King of Clubs, which can be signed on the face as well as the UV. The King goes into the center of the deck, and now you can see that it's not on top. That's the Jack of Spades. And when they turn it on, they can see, of course it's not on top because they just seen that was the Jack, and they can see there's no UV ink. Mm-hmm. But if they just hold the pen, you do nothing, they see it visually rise all the way to the top of the deck. And then they're holding this, and they can turn this card over to show their card.
So good. It's taking that ambitious card to the 21st century. Are we in the 21st century? What century are we in?
28th
century.
The beauty is this doesn't destroy your deck. You can just carry on using this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Same with the double cross deck. You can use this throughout the entire performance, and as soon as you want to do not double cross, as soon as you want to do the invisible deck, so let me put invisible deck mode.
Yeah, because I was literally about to say I want to see the invisible deck mode deck because that's really cool.
So that's no UV, that's UV. No UV, UV. So Beau, name a card.
The 3 of hearts.
So let me just check a second. So right, so the UV's on, right? So this is how it would work in the real world. You'd have the deck. We'd be doing a bunch of different tricks like sandwich effects, shuffle decks. I would say take the deck, take it under the table so I can't see it, and take out the card you're thinking of. So they do this, and they hide it under the table. We'll just put it to the side for now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they can bring the deck out, and you say, look, you take the light, you shine it, and you can see, and they can go through every single card, right? There's no markings on the cards, right? There actually are because they're all UV marked with crosses, but they're looking at it in this mode. There's nothing on the cards, right? Mm-hmm. And then watch this. This is such a funny little convincer for them. You say turn the deck over. Oh wait, sorry. So we're here. They shine. There's no thing, right? You say turn the light off. Say actually turn the deck over. So they turn the deck over. They shine the light back on the faces and check there's no markings on the faces too, right? So they do the same thing. Now they've just switched it into UV mode without even realizing it because it's like an afterthought. Yeah. So you say look, put the deck away. Take the card that you chose and thought of freely, and shine the light. Look, not on the face, but shine it on the back, and it's the only card with a UV mark. And it can be like you can have like your card, or you can have squiggles or a triangle or smiley faces, anything you want. So you just an invisible deck in the most like clean way possible with a deck in use, and I just go back into performing with this deck. Like, so good. Come on, man.
There's no switches, no nothing. You don't have to. Yeah, I love the fact that there's so many times when I've gone to perform and I've gone to pick a card out and I've had a card that's already been signed by a previous spectator.
Yeah. And
I'm like, oh, damn, sorry. But the fact is you don't need to do any of that now.
The cool thing I found is that I say, magicians mark cards, right? Because everyone knows magicians mark cards. It's kind of like a phrase. Like, oh, it's not a trick deck, or magicians mark cards or whatever. I say they do. sometimes they use UV ink, and this is how you can spot the markings. So if anyone's worried about justification, which you shouldn't be, this is your justification. Because you've got a deck of cards, you're going to secretly mark them and show them how the markings work, and then you're going to mess with their brain.
Or another one you could do is for the justification, you use it to find fake bills.
Yeah,
You could UV ink, and then that could lead into a routine where you could have a serial number, circled numbers and stuff like that. Or,
exactly.
And you could have it scan over and then have a spectator think of. There's so much you could do with that, and I think you don't need a justification. Like you said, you're a magician. Magicians carry weird stuff.
Yeah. This is the thing, but it's one of these. I try to think. I haven't met someone that hasn't seen a UV pen or experienced a UV pen or black light in their life. I just haven't. I just realised that you're. Oh no, it looks good to me. It looks like my camera was weird on your thing. I don't know. I've never experienced someone that hasn't encountered a UV pen in their life, so it's not too odd as you're doing magic to have something which is kind of magical anyway.
Yeah.
But there's certain things I have real struggles with. Like I struggle to justify big coins that are not from my country or they're not in print anymore. I don't generally do magic with those objects. I do struggle with certain things. And as everyone in the chat on my channel will know me, I'm all about organic magic. I'm all about everything being natural. So for me to not have to justify this, I think it's like it's a bigger point. Like it's just one of those things that doesn't happen. I mean, I even have my signature on the side of this pen. And people don't think it's weird, so
yeah. Well, a lot of people are asking now, how did you come up with this? Because it's so technical. There's so much thought gone into this.
Yeah, so I'm not a tech wizard. So the tech side of it, it was me a couple of years ago. I've always wanted to do stuff. Everyone knows I like slow motion magic. Like kind of like my thing, right? I have a notebook of ideas. They're like I don't know, like golden egg ideas. Some of them are pipe dreams, some of them are things. And this was sort of in there roughly as a note. And then I went and I was sitting in my garden a couple of years ago and I looked up, and this is part of the clues for the treasure hunt. That's why the treasure hunt was aimed in this direction. I looked up and I stared at Orion's belt. And the entire project existed in my head essentially from start to finish. Not the actual finer technical engineering stuff, but from the notebook where I'd had slow motion vanishing UV, I looked up in my garden. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I looked up, I seen Orion's belt, and everything existed. And I went inside and I said to my wife Kaylee, I said, I've just had this idea, Kale, and I'm telling you, like, I don't think I'll have a better idea than this for the rest of my life. And that was how I basically came up with it. And that's why the first one of the first two clues and question answers were Lyrid's meteor shower, which took place on the 22nd of April. Because I was looking up at the skies and I seen Orion's belt, so it was like a timing thing where it all brought it full circle personally for why this sort of came to fruition. So yeah, and then the things like I didn't realize the mentalism elements of this until Skyping with you guys at Murphy's, like the team. I think it was Titanus' idea. I'm pretty sure it was Titanus' idea to do an invisible deck with it.
Yeah.
And I remember he said that, and I was like, oh my! Like as soon as he said that, it was like, all right, game changer. This isn't just vanishing sunglasses and names and ambitious cards. This is.
Well, yeah, because like I was saying, it's only limited to your imagination. So if you are a performer of certain things, there's bound to be a routine that you can think of that can you incorporate into this.
I realize you can use it for peaks. Yesterday, this is just after come up release. So if you had like a deck of blank cards, and you'd get something, you could say to someone, because the thing is, what's the justification for magicians writing things down on paper? Because, the layman writing down, and they say, oh, well, it's just to make sure you don't change your mind later or anything, which is a good thing, but the possibility for the magician to peek it exists then, because it's physically down. So what you could do, and and this isn't fleshed out, but this is literally yesterday, you have a load of blank cards. You say, I want you to write whatever you're thinking down on a blank card, only so that you don't forget you don't forget it, or so that you don't change your mind later on and try to make me look stupid, because that's happened in the past. But I want you to do it with UV ink just so that if you ever thought that I was going to look at it, I can't. Like, because I'd have to see it with like a UV pen or something. So you can get them to write down whatever it's going to be, like, hello. And you say, that way now, you know, we can check later on that you haven't changed your mind if I get it right or wrong. But I'm not going to be able to see it in case it accidentally falls out of whatever you're doing. Now, if it was like on blank cards, you could top change it and stuff.
Yeah.
And because of that, if I put it into alternating mode, because of that, you can say, look, I'm going to take a random blank card this time, but it's the same card. And you say, look, I can show you there's no UV on this. And you turn it over, and I can show you there's no UV on this side. Now I've switched modes and I can shine. I'm looking at it saying hello here. But they think this is a different card. So I can say, look. So they've written it down. Say, look, lose this in the deck. So it's a blank card with UV written somewhere in the deck. I can't see it. I'm going to take this random card off top. You can see, look, this isn't your card, right? I don't want to see if it is. It's got no UV on the back either. No, right? No UV on the front. That's the word. And now I've peeked it. And they have no clue. I can even just leave this out in full view. It's their card with their word on. And then later on, either you just forget about it, you know. Well, I'm going to explain the rest for the mentalism element, but you guys get it. Like, it's just so dynamic.
It's so good. I'm just responding to some people in that chat. Well, I'll just mention it here on the thing now that we've popped up. People, again, because now people are realizing it, the pen, and they're like, oh, this is insane for the price of the pen, that kind of stuff. Is there like replacement globes, and like if it gets broken, that type of stuff. The thing is you've had yours for years, and like you've said, if you go back to the beginning of the video, your son sucked on this as a teething thing. You've dropped it, you've carried it for years, and you have the original like demo version, which now the new version's been more sturdy, more.
Actually, I might be able to find. I think if it's not in this bag, it's in a different bag. But one of the versions that I did have chipped and got scratched. And I didn't like that, and it's not for the reason that you guys probably think. I didn't like it because it looked like I'd had it for a long time, which would imply to some people that maybe it was special. Yeah. So I didn't mind that it could chip, but I didn't like the fact that it could give even the hint that I've had it longer than I should have. So we got rid of those. We made sure that they couldn't scratch just because of that one reason. I'm trying to find if I've even got it here. Here we go. This is it. This is the old one. Yeah, this is the old one. This is the old one. I'll show you. This is an old prototype that has 2 bulbs in it. And that was okay, but we changed the method up completely. But that used to scratch. And I thought, well, if somebody sees it scratched, it's going to imply that I've had it a long time. So that's why these ones are they're made out of like they can't scratch. They are black metal or whatever it is. My brain's gone blank. But they can't scratch now. And again, I think that makes it feel, in a way, cheaper. But it's supposed to look cheap, like you've just got it out of a Christmas cracker. It's supposed to look like you just... Like,
and the fact that it's on your keys is built to be sturdy. Like, your keys meant to be thrown in boxes or on the cupboard or whatever. Like, this is a electronic gimmick that you can... Don't run over it with your car.
Well, I just bought my wife an AirTag for her keys, and she keeps a LUX on there just in case I need one. Yeah. And I bought her an AirTag because she keeps losing her keys, like down drains and shit, and that thing won't die. So, like, these things can take a beating.
I'm just getting people in our chat now just saying, this is great, this is great. I love this. So someone's mentioned about the lights that you've got there and how it looks in daylight, saying it's a bit faded, but that's what we just mentioned before. You have 3 different lights on you right now to light up your face and to light up so you can be on the video.
Yeah, I've got literally right here, I've got a...
Well, you can see the one over your shoulder as well. Like,
I'm facing us with a bright ring light. Yeah. Like, literally a bright ring light, 2 soft boxes, and daylight coming through here.
Yeah.
So this is extreme lighting, and it's doing well.
It's still showing up.
The one thing I'll note is that this doesn't look, for some reason, this doesn't show up well on camera. Mm. So DSLR cameras make it look less strong than it is. phones, if you shoot this on a mobile phone, and that's why the first shot in the video, in the trailer, is shot on a handset, as on my mobile. Because mobile gives the most truest representation of what it looks like in real life. So you'll see it really looks perfect and bright and everything in that video because it was shot on mobile, which is the most truest. And I think that's because these phones use like smart AI or whatever to make it, they're smarter than a DSLR camera because they don't, whatever it's called. I don't understand, but phones basically, when you look at the trailer, the first shot in the video is the truest representation to the brightness of the light. Because like when they were shooting the trailer, like parts like George and Javier and Matt were shooting some parts of the trailer and the explanations in California, and they were doing the lottery stub thing, and you can just see it normally with your eyes, but for some reason the DSLR camera was like sometimes not showing up the markings on the paper. Just an odd thing. So I just said shoot it with your phone because that's just going to look like how good it looks in the real world.
Which is fair.
And it's how funny is that though? I always think it's funny. A trick which looks visually better in real life than on camera. I can only name like that. I can't really name hardly anything to that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Someone just said, "Is the batteries slowly drained? Does the light get dimmer?"
So you'll know really when the battery needs replacing, because the UV will get slightly dimmer. So when that starts to happen, then just chuck some new batteries in and you're golden.
Yeah, like you said, 6 months, and they will last you for another 6 months.
When you first get it, you're probably going to run the batteries down quick.
Just by leaving the light on, everything, scanning the whole house.
But when I've given it to my friends before release, or for people for quotes, they've just played with it all day, every day, for ages. So anything you get, when it's your new phone, with a 3-day battery life in a new phone, most people play with a new phone non-stop and then run the battery down for the first few days. Same thing, same as anything, like when you get like a smoke device or anything, the battery runs down a bit quicker than normal the first few days. So be aware of that. Don't just think, oh God, I bought this, no wonder it's $75. I've only played with it for a week and the batteries are running out. It's like, because you've played with it for a week.
And you've had it on for 8 hours. Yeah, that's fair. I'm just getting questions in here. Just questions. Just people saying, congratulations, I bought mine.
Thanks, this is the thing. I didn't want this to be like a product which like has a
no, that's what I'm trying to say. If anyone else has got any more questions, throw them up in the question box and we'll answer them for you. I'm down to pass on. You got any questions on your end?
How do I do the writing on my hand with LUX? So I think I've seen this question somewhere else. People were asking. Now, I don't do this routine. This is the routine that Edwin Todd has been using at his gigs. So I sent Edwin an advanced copy and he was shooting some performances at gigs with it. And the performances he was sending back was him. He would get somebody to write something down on a peak device or whatever. And then he would reveal the word. And I think one of the words is like Bella in the trailer to the girl. It's like just silent in the restaurant. And I can't remember what he wrote on the girl in the dress. His hand was like, this is black magic. I don't give a F what anybody thinks. And what Edwin says he did is that he would get the peak early on in his routine. I'll ask him in detail. Unless Edwin's in the chat now and you could tell everyone, because I don't mind you telling everyone. But he said that he was writing in the midst of another effect. So whilst he said, like, I'm going to turn my back, I want you to shuffle the cards or do something else, he was just grabbing his pen and just writing it, like, just slapdash on his arm. And then getting those reactions. I've thrown the UV pen away.
That's so good.
Yeah, so I wish I had a more technical answer and something that magicians would be like, oh, wow, that's amazing. But he's a proper worker. You can see he's a proper worker, and he works with like rowdy teenagers that young adults, which can be your worst audience. And he just goes in and slays them. He just gets the information whenever he wants, and then just finds an excuse to turn his back. With magicians, take a card, go ahead, take the deck, shuffle it, take a card out, and shuffle it back in. Do it when my back's turned so I can't see you.
I'm going to go to the bathroom while you do that, just to make sure it's 100% legit. No, I can't see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Go to the bathroom, write it on your forehead.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. But the other thing you can do is and I find this works just as well, is have 100 random words in digital force bag. Force the word like radio, for example. And then so you say, look, think of a random word. They're reacting to two things. They're reacting to the visual element of the thing just slowly and magically appearing. That is like one half of the thing. They're like, they can't comprehend what's going on. Then you also know their word. to laymen, it doesn't really make a difference whether it's completely freely thought of or one that they thought of from a list or some other forcing method. I know it kind of does, but when you're doing it with this type of reveal, it blows up. And this is only for people that don't want to write it covertly. I have no issue with doing things covertly. You guys in my channel and watching me on my stream now, you know the type of stuff that I do. You've seen those videos where I do. It's no issue if you can perform. I'm a terrible performer. I'm not a good performer, and I can get away with stuff like this. So you guys are going to slay it because you're better than me. Most of you out there are way better performers than me. So don't worry. Yeah. So what I know is that he does it. He basically splits it. He just uses time misdirection. Gets the information written down. Does something else as he's got his back turned to enhance the fairness. He just writes it on his hand or a piece of business card or anything. Yeah. Anything.
I have someone in the chat asking about, isn't this just a simple school experiment?
Don't know.
I don't know. Is it?
If you present it as it is, then yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so much magic that you could do, which comes under that, right?
Yeah. Well, the fact that it's a simple school experiment, sometimes simple magic tricks are just as good. Like, right? There's no big.
Well, like, perfect example, witch hand routines. You know, one of the most popular mentalism routines in the world is the witch hand routine, which is just a simple schoolyard game.
Yeah.
Same thing. It depends. If you can't present magic to look bigger than what it is, then it's just something you need to work on. If you think that you couldn't take this and make it play big for you, then take go and learn something else and work on. Look at Penn and Teller. They promoted their magic box set with the ball and vase, which is a simple kids trick, and they got a viral video and they smash it because they know how to perform.
Yeah.
So you can make any trick look bad, like a simple school experiment, or you can make any trick look good. It's just about what you put in. You'll get
exactly. That comes down to the routine you're going to perform.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you do a simple trick with it, then it's going to be a simple trick. But
what I will say is this: is that if you're worried at that, and I've seen some people thinking, some magician was worried about. They think that the spectator may think that it's the pen that's got a secret computer in it that's going to switch between lights. That's exactly what it is. But I think everyone can gladly now see that the majority of people in the comments spread over social media are asking, where can we get the special ink refills? Because they think it's special ink. We're magicians, and half of us are fooled.
Yeah.
Laymen or not, but if you're worried that they think that it's slowly switching between UV or not, then layer your effect. Don't do the visual magic. If you think your audience is too smart for you, and they're going to see that, then do a different thing. Do like the polo trick from Javier, where it's nothing to do with the UV. The UV is the vehicle to get to the end point, as opposed to the end point to be in the UV. So do the mentalism stuff. Do the invisible deck, where the invisible deck effect, no one will ever think that it's to do with the pen. They're wondering how you psychologically made them choose the card. They're wondering how did you swap the card in their hand. This is not the method, because this is just the vehicle, not the end point. So if you are that worried that they're going to call you on it, then do a more layered effect. Yeah,
it's all audience management. It's really what it comes down to. If you're worried about something, know what your audience is going to be. I just saw a question about the shipping times. So what is the shipping times? It all depends on your magic shop and who you bought it from. But we are in pre-sale right now, so that goes for a week and then they get shipped out. So probably a lot of magic shops are probably starting to receive their orders over the next couple of days, and then they'll be shipped out.
I've got so many comments. Normally I try and answer every single comment in these live feeds.
Yeah, if you want to jump into some, I'm gonna.
I can't even keep up. Okay. I'm trying to just pick out questions. Guys, if you have any questions that haven't been answered, can you ask them now in like a batch so we can sort of try and pile through them? Is there going to be a giveaway? No giveaway. The size is what again? This is the size, so banana for scale. If I got a pair of AirPods, where am I? Mm-hmm. That's the scale of it. The pen is just a pen. I'm trying to think. I haven't got a shot. Oh, yes, I do. It's almost exactly the same size as a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Bit shorter.
But like you said, that UV pen can be bought anywhere.
Yeah.
So you could get some off Amazon for like small ones.
Any pen. So So that's the size of it. LR41 for the batteries. Do a battery giveaway. 90-day finance is the best commenter right now.
Yeah, I just love the ones about
Alex Beau. So the light does more than just shine. Yeah. So I think we're all. I think hopefully everyone's watched most of the live streams and can see that we pretty much exposed it. It's all about the light and the way it works.
Yeah, jump back to the beginning of the stream and kind of start there, and we pretty much reveal it in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah. Okay, where's the best place to get Lux in the UK? That's from Joseph Ball. There's so many shops that have it. I know Prop Dog put in an order, and then Sav, one of my friends, went to the store and performed it on Dave, and as soon as he's seen it live, he doubled his order. So Prop Dog has got loads in. I think every magic store in the UK has got it. Any possibilities of doing a UV double cross pet? Oh, we covered that question, haven't we?
Yeah, I just saw someone mentioning Quantum Deck with Lux.
Yes.
So that would be a cool effect.
I'll tell you one thing that Hav does. Me and Hav have been working on this index. He has a full double blank index. So all the cards in the index are double blank, and they each have a different playing card written on them, like ace, or every card is written on them in the index that is secretly hidden in his pocket. And he starts by giving somebody a blank card, and then has them name a card. Whilst doing something else, he'll retrieve the double blank card from the index, which is the one they've named, written on it, and we'll just do a simple switch, like a cop switch, right? But keeps it on the table. So casually, that card's just been there since the start, does some other things. They don't realise he's done a simple switch. You can even do like a simple pocket switch. As then you take it out of the index, put it into your coat pocket, where you then switch as you look for a pen. A bunch of different, it doesn't matter. But then later on at the end, he says, oh, remember at the very beginning, you named a card. Right? There's no way I could have known that. And this blank card has been on the table since the start. Shine the light on it. And then...
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like whoa.
Yeah. There's also a comment just come up in the chat which made me laugh. So you can look for a question while I mention this. I just made me laugh. So you're telling me that there's not a projector with an X on it inside the pen?
Well, maybe this person's missed it. No.
No. They said that, and then can I wait for a Lux 2?
All right. Yeah. Okay. How long are they generally taking to ship? Shipping depends on who you order it from.
Yeah.
What if somebody presses the button unwillingly during the performance? I had this issue right at the very start of the project 18 months ago, and it's fixed like this. So the issue is, to get it into change modes, you have to hold the button down, right? So now I'm changing modes and cycling through them. And then you hold it down to set it, and then when you want the light on, you just tap it, right? And what I found was some people were taking it and holding it to shine the light. So this is how you fix it. Take the light bow and just tap it on.
Yeah.
That's it. Or I say, hold that pen light. So I just turn it on and hand it to them.
Yeah.
And I was panicking. I thought, oh no. I thought, oh, what if people do this and that? What if people start doing? And then I went out and thought, oh, actually, this is how you turn the light on. You just tap it on like that, okay? Turn it on. or I was just going, here you go, take that. So yeah, you're all covered. There's no issue.
In your head, you know what mode they're on anyway. So if you know they're in the cycling mode and they accidentally tapped it on when they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You know not to show your hand with the X on it.
Yes, exactly. A good tip is as well to know if you're in UV mode or not, depending on which setting you've got it on. Put a dab of UV ink on your index finger, so that you can just secretly shine it, or on your pinky. So just before, as you turn it on, you can just test. That's just a little.
Yeah,
smart. Somebody. Oh yeah, this guy. Miko Luco, I think his name is. This is a really smart idea. Stamp the UV ink in the card name. Put the UV ink into the card, and when they take it into their hand, it will be printed on their hand. So I'm guessing he's saying, like, basically,
oh yeah,
put the UV ink on the hand, use that as the stamper in the midst of an effect, and come back to it later.
That's smart.
KOK has a great one. Can you do oil and water routines with blank cards? Have an X on 4 of them and 4 that don't? Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. You can do oil and water, out of this world, living or dead tests, devil and angel. So a cool one you can do is take Polaroids and you can say, and you can draw devils on all of them with UV, but secretly. And then you say, I want you to choose these. There's a picture. There's 100 Polaroids or 10 Polaroids here. Some of these people went to jail for terrible crimes. Some of them are really good people. You need to separate them, and then they separate them, and they shine the light. And the bad pile, they all have like devil horns on them, and the good pile they have nothing.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Yeah, we didn't even cover that in the trailer. Like, I mean, it is just.
Oh, it's something you can snowball into. You can sit there and start to create routines, and then 10 hours later be like, oh, what about if we did this?
Yeah.
There's so much you can do. I've got no more comments on my end. People want to keep throwing up comments, but there's no more. Questions.
I got loads of questions. Keep going.
Yeah, go.
David Peace says UV ink and a Sharpie would allow you to do double writing as you were acting. He said think Babe and the other brothers. That's exactly what Have made is a Sharpie with a UV thing in it. So you would have your pre-written word in black Sharpie, and you'd force that word, and then you'd use your UV Sharpie to write what it. So you like a one ahead thing. You know what I mean? And so you can do that, and that messes them up. But that's again. George says yes, we'll be adding the new effect which we talked about, which is the polo effect, the word search effect on Monday.
George just popped up in our chat as well. George is all over the place.
Oh, he's all over us.
You're very welcome for the response. I hope that helps.
Oh, George says we used yellow UV in the... Yes, we used yellow UV and that looked great too in the instructions. Yeah, other colour UV works as well, apparently.
Great. While you look for another question, I just want to answer this real quick while you find a question. Caleb says, why so expensive? It is the pen, Caleb, it's the light, not the UV.
I'll tell you, so
pen.
Caleb, this isn't the special ink. This is any UV ink can be used. Inside here is a circuit board and a small computer chip. And what it's doing is basically it's a smart electronic device that cycles through different modes that allows you to control UV light or no UV light. So we're actually pretty impressed that we got this under. You know, any trick that's an electronic product is always people put a $100 price tag starting point on it. We didn't want to do that with this because we wanted to get it in people's hands. We wanted it to be accessible. Under this thing, there's some pretty hardcore technology going on. And we fought really hard to get the price down low.
Yep, that's all my questions again. Back to you.
Okay, next version will have Bluetooth and an app. We've discussed this, but I don't want it to have that. I want to keep it as simple as possible to make it as practical as possible. Keep it as practical. How you write the name, we've done that. What are the other modes? Okay, so the other modes are... I'm trying to think, is it best to use my hand for this? Let me draw like another shape. Okay, I'll show you all the 6 different modes. So let me go on here. Alright, so what's that? I'm colorblind for everyone. So this is looper mode. So if let me draw like, I don't know, my initials on my arm.
That's where you also got the X, right?
Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. You forget these things. Okay, so looper mode. Is that good? Can you see that?
Yeah.
I'm looking at my hand and the screen. So that says LB, really badly written. Looper mode will make that vanish in slow motion. And again, this is all done by the spectator. It's kind of not holding the button or anything. And then after 5 to 10 seconds, it will reappear. Okay? So that's looper mode. The next mode is eye control when it appears. So I'll show you that. So now I'm going to change it to green. Flashing green, that is. So now this time, this is for the magician to control it. I turn it on. You can all see. There's apparently no UV there. Whenever I secretly hold the button down, it'll after 3 seconds fade in slow motion. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm not gonna obviously push it down to the spectator, but I'm gonna press it now, and in 3, 2, 1, it'll just appear. All right, and obviously the camera is not as good as the real life. So that's eye control when it appears. Next we have the visual vanish mode. So I'll change it to the flashing blue. And you'll see, I got that on camera, so you can see it there. Whenever I hold it down, so I'm going to hold it down now, very obviously for you all to see. But I'm going to hold it down now, and 3, 2, 1, it vanishes. Okay. Now, the solid red mode is the alternating mode, which is great for mentalism. But you can also use the controlled modes, all the self modes for mentalism. You just time it, and I'll get into that in a moment. So this one, whenever they turn it on and off, or you turn it on and off, it'll alternate between no UV and UV. No UV, UV. All right? So you think about it in terms of like an entire deck with marks on it. You can show... Where's my camera?
Yeah, you can kind of
there's
see
UV or no UV. Yeah, so I'm trying to like look at two cameras at once. So you can imagine with like lottery style effects, you can show the paper as blank. Did I mark this one? I don't know if I've marked this one. You can show it as blank beforehand, then they can mark it and go forward.
Yeah, they dab it, which you see in the trailer.
Yes, and then then there's two other modes, which is exactly the same as the green and the blue modes, except they work on a timer so that you don't do anything. So let me just put it into... Oh, nearly blinded myself. So this is solid green mode, which I set that. So now when it turns on, there's no UV on my hand, but the spectator can hold it, and after 8 to 10 seconds, it will visually appear like that, but it'll stay locked in place. So that UV is not going anywhere now. That's going to stay there until it's turned off, and then it'll start again. And then the same for the blue solid mode. I lock that. So now you can see UV. They haven't got to hold the button even, and then it'll visually vanish like that. But what's interesting about the self-vanishing and appearing modes is that you can do the invisible deck or mentalism type stuff with those instead of alternating it on and off, even though they don't care about turning it on and off. But for example, if the deck is spread on the table, they take one out and they put it face up, or they take it out face up and put it down, whatever, and move it like just like a foot or two away. You can time them. You can say, quickly just shine the light on the back of all these cards, and so they can turn it on, and they'll see there's no UV, or if they want to start on the card they've chosen to show that there's UV, then you say, I'm going to turn the cards face up. So you know when you like turn a spread face up, or you do something else, whatever props you're using, and now shine the light there. And in that time, it will slowly have faded to or from UV, depending on which mode you're in. And now you can say, go ahead and shine it on your card and reveal it. So they've done nothing, and it's still alternated.
So good. So good.
It's so devious.
Yeah, Caleb just said, thanks so much. That answers all my questions. And looks like a laser pointer from Walmart. Makes sense why it's little on the expensive end.
Yes.
This was the thing or two you talked about before. You made it look so cheap. Like you got it from a Christmas cracker to hide all that stuff in there. It doesn't look like it's some big expensive prop.
Yeah. Samuel Starmer asked a good question, and I had this idea only like a day ago. Are the original non-gimmick torches available? And I think they are. I think you can get... They're not available from us at the minute, but I think that you can find very similar ones out there, because I literally chose this to look like any other UV pen. And that's great, because then you can just hand them out to keep, because they're so cheap to buy. You can buy, the actual case for a UV pen is mega, mega cheap. So they are out there.
Yeah, Chris James did a story on his Instagram where he had written LUX on his arm and went over it with a pen. And the pen looks exactly like the LUX pen, the UV pen.
Perfect.
And he doesn't have LUX.
Yeah.
He's going, people message me going, oh, have you got LUX already? He's like, no, you can get this from Walmart, like this pen set.
Yeah. Flores says, what if the spectator turns it off and back on during the X effect? That just comes down to audience management. The same as how you would stop someone turning over a double prematurely, or any other way that, like opening their hand for a copper silver too soon. If I've got a spec, I'll normally do this. I won't just cold open with this, because it's the finisher effect. It's the big one. And and you'll know your spectator if they're just people that are just too touchy feely or they're trying to screw you up. Then what I'll do is I'll either do the effect with somebody else, or I'll say push the button and hold the light with a keychain, and that stops them physically. That blocks them from doing it. And I think I've only had that once. So obviously it worked. They didn't turn it off or on. So I don't know what would happen if they did. But I knew before going into it with them that they were going to be potentially a problem. So I did that. I handled it like that with them.
I love that.
Alex Beau, can I retire off this now? Brazen. Lux is something to get your creativity to go, and I feel like people are limiting their thought process of what this can do. I think it's why I wanted to sort of explain this so in depth on here, because we're not trying to fool you with this product, like in terms of the method. Yeah. But I don't think there's any trainer that could have really shown off what this can do well. So
yeah, it's like you said, because I just had Caleb say I didn't really get that from, honestly wasn't impressed with the trailer and didn't get that from what this was. And that's why we did this Q&A, because we did the trailer and then we had people thinking it was the UV pen, and we're like, oh, no, it's not that. Oh, we need to go and clear some things up. Yeah. It's actually the UV light. So
Greg Rostani's in the chat and has a great question. He says, does the spectator notice the wet marks of UV on their skin? 100% not. And that's for this reason. With the pen that we supply with it, which isn't a special type of ink that we've made very specifically for this, but we chose not to have xylol in it. And so some UV pens like this will have xylol in. And in some cases, you may see a residue, not so much on your skin, like I'll show you right now, actually. So if I put a mark on my fingertip, like that, wait for it to dry. How close I can hold that to the camera. Like, you're not going to get anything. Maybe a residue on a completely plain piece of paper with stuff with xylol, but these ones don't have xylol in, which is the chemical which can, for some rare instances, be slightly irritable or slightly visible. But we don't have that in these pens. And when you Google stuff, you can just search for UV pens without xylol in, and you're fine. So yeah. We really thought hard about that, but man, I don't even know what, like you've seen in the video, I don't even know what UV I've gotten where. It's completely invisible. My favorite thing is that skin is the best use for this. Skin is the most hidden for this. Like it's complete, like
it's most hidden in plain sight. It's great.
Yeah. Because on a totally blank card, if you know when you're looking for it, like I used an old pen on one of these. In the light, you can see it on a totally blank, like anything like a bill. There's just they got no hope. You can't see it. Is there shades on this one or this one? This one.
You can't even see it now. You have to like.
Hang on. So this one, I think I drew UV night shades on it. Can you see any? Let me just see.
No, I'm even looking like on the tablet as well, because we've got questions I'm trying to respond to as well. But
hang on, if I shine, there are. So look. Big and bright. Oh, I'm going back to front. but like literally, you just cannot see. Anything. Midge says, "What's my favorite part of the project and what's my favorite effect?" I think that the visual ambitious card and the moving ink effect are up there. But I also love that word effect and the invisible deck.
Oh yeah, the invisible deck is one of my favorites too. Like I definitely perform that.
Just to be able to do it, like I hate carrying anything on me. Yeah. A deck, a Sharpie, rubber bands, and coins with my phone that has apps built into it. That's not my everyday carry. That's just how I live. You know, that's how I leave the house. It's in my jacket pocket. Like I put it on, and I've got a full routine in there. So. By having this on my keys meant I didn't have to think about carrying this, and a UV pen with my Sharpie, that's no drama to keep next to it. Some effects like the invisible deck, you don't even need the UV pen on you. So I would just, any deck that I have that was set up with it on my keys, I meant I can do normal magic, my everyday carry, and then do the invisible deck whenever I wanted. Yeah. So that was my favorite thing, I think, with that.
Yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question too, Caleb. Caleb just came in and said, how do you get into your routines? Like you work into regular routines you already use, like the invisible deck. If you want to check that out, Caleb, we mentioned that up a bit earlier on in the video where we go over how to get into some of the routines.
Yeah. I think we're going to be uploading some live performances. At least from the studio, so people like cleanly can just see from A to B how the effect is performed.
Yeah.
You know, so I think
keep an eye on Murphy's social media on YouTube on Sundays where we have a full performance.
Yeah.
We'll have a full performance up of Lux without any cuts.
Yeah, someone said a great presentation would be using a question mark instead of an X and referencing the Riddler. Super cool idea.
Yep.
Someone said 90-day finance. I'm going to get free hotel upgrades using this pen. Yeah, you can actually use this for comedy stuff. One thing that I haven't mentioned is in the trailer I show that 7 of hearts appearing on a 2 of diamonds or something. Mm-hmm. I bought UV spray paint, and you can make UV stencils, and that's when you can start doing some wild stuff. Like you can do some wicked things with that. So just as a note, you can just get UV spray paint off eBay. Or eBay. What year is this?
Yeah. You can get UV ink off Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, Ask Jeeves. Yeah. No. Lloyd is appearing in Beau's window.
In my window?
Maybe you could even build your own UV ink Swami gimmick. Yeah, you could totally do that. A lot of people take me fake hundreds. This is what I use to check them. Did you know that the upcoming X Tenebris deck already has secret UV markings? I didn't, but when we were making this project, I was this close to pulling the trigger on including a regular deck of bikes that all the faces had the opposite invisible deck cards printed on them. So, for example, a 2 of spades would have a jack of hearts printed on it and vice versa, or at least written on it in text. So that was the goal, to do invisible deck and any card at any numbers with it, which you can still do, but Bicycle could only print UV on the white areas of the card, which meant that I couldn't have full card, like on court cards, they could only print in the borders, which meant I had to reduce it down to just having text as opposed to full images. Because, for like example, for any card, any number, you could do it out in the open. If they were marked for the invisible, like 10 of spades would have a 3 of hearts printed on it in UV, right? If someone named the 3 of hearts at 27, if this was in like a stack, you could cut the 10 of spades to 27, right in front of them, or put it there. Then deal face up, you get boom, 3 of hearts. It's the wrong card. Then they shine the light, and it's exactly their card. Same for invisible deck type stuff. So I was this close, and I didn't end up doing it, but maybe that'll come. Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, because then it means that people can use any deck they want. They don't have to use bikes. They could use cherries or orbits or
yeah.
Anything. I was going to name playing cards for another hour and a half.
King OK says a great presentation is to force a celebrity with digital force bag or something. Ask them what they think is the celebrity's favourite card. Then the card they took out is the only one with writing on it that says the celebrity's name.
Yeah.
Yo.
That's beautiful.
That's great. So think of a celebrity off DFB. Got it. What do you think their favourite card is? You think it's the 2 of diamonds. Boom, take the 2 of diamonds out. Shine the UV light. It says Chris Rock on there. And every other card has no other celebrity on it. That's a great suggestion, man.
Yeah.
That's a great suggestion.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine... No. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking, imagine that you had a deck where they were... Like, it would be a 5 of spades on the front and back. It'd be an ace of spades on the front and back. So then you'd write Chris Rock on all the cards on the back. And then all random celebrities on the front of all the other cards. So you spread the deck up, face up. They take the card out that they name. You secretly flip it upside down. But it's still the 4 of spades. But now it has Chris Rock. Now you can show all these have random celebs. And this is the only one that has... I don't know. But because of LUX, you wouldn't be able to do that with just Sharpie written on it.
Yeah.
You could only do it with UV.
Caleb just brings up the question again. I'll mention that while you find another question about UV ink. Does it wash off? Like Lloyd said, it only comes off when you really have a shower or vigorously wash your hands. If you're just hanging out or if you mark someone, they've still got it on them hours later, unless they're super sweaty and in a pool.
Yeah. yeah. I mean, that's the thing. If somebody's not comfortable with it being on their skin, or they don't want it written on their skin, or they're worried about it washing off a spectator's skin, if you've got like a slippery spectator, then do a different trick. Do the invisible deck. Do the ambitious card. Do some of the stuff like the mentalism thing. There's just so much you can do with it. The fact is that this takes up. I'm assuming when you leave the house, most people carry keys. That sits on your keychain. You don't even need to take the pen, as we've said.
Yeah.
To be able to do so many powerful effects, for nothing. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing extra on you. Your pockets are not bulging. There's no space taken up. And the best thing about the effects that you can do with this is that they're hidden in plain sight. So like the invisible deck, the markings are on the cards. If you don't want to do it, it doesn't take up any space. So
it's
like
just a regular deck then.
Yeah, like if you don't want to do if you carry an invisible deck with you and you decide you don't want to do it, you've now got an extra deck of cards on you that take up space. With this, if you don't want to do the invisible deck, cool, you don't have an extra deck on you. You just have this, and every pretty much every other trick.
Anyone else got more questions on our end? We've got nothing on our end.
I've got loads,
yeah, you go to town.
Rich Relish says he's going to be making up a blank UV ESP deck. That would have been the ultimate test of psychic ability. Yeah, that's good, because what you can say with things like UV ESPs, you can say they've got UV markings on them because people, when they normally mark cards, you can see through them or you can peek them. So this is a way that we can tell the difference, but even if I was to accidentally see it, I still couldn't tell what it is, or you couldn't tell what it is. So it makes it even more powerful for them, and it makes sense too. Hi, my real name is Drew. How did you know that this is the trick to move forward in development and sell commercially like I did with Cognito? I didn't know. It was a trick. It was something that I wanted to create. Like all my magic comes from what I want to perform, what I want to do, and then so I did that. I came up with it and then showed it to the boys, and that's when it was like, hey, this is more like of a product than a individual thing. So the same with Cognito. That was. I tend to find that like when the magic I put out comes from like other people telling me to release it, that's when like it goes on to do so well. Okay, thanks for the response I get. I don't know if you. Okay, so this is a good question. Virus Shield says, I don't know if it was addressed before, but how dangerous would it be to look directly into the UV diode? I've done it. Look, I can't recommend looking directly into any form of light, but I've definitely done it, and I'm not blind yet. But I wouldn't do it. Like I wouldn't advise looking into any light. But like I can do it right now. Should I do it right now? Hi, my name's Lloyd Barnes, and welcome to Jackass. Oh my god, I'm blind.
I think you've also moved your frame over from me on the stream. I was getting people in our comments saying, Lloyd, your camera looks weird.
I fixed
like you're showing up.
My bad.
So I've just jumped on your stream now, yeah.
So Mr. Matt says, so if I get it right, there is a delay mode where you can give the light to the spectator and it changes by itself. Yes, that's absolutely correct. There's multiple modes. One of the modes is that it will change by itself for them, and you can either have it vanish or appear, or loopingly vanish and appear with a time gap in between. The other mode where they do it themselves is the alternating mode. So every time it's turned off and back on, it'll go from UV to non-UV.
Yeah.
Nevio says, how did I see you guys? There was lots of controversy. There was about LUX. There absolutely was. People were really annoyed in the build-up about the hype, but luckily it sort of paid off.
Nevio asked if you're going to be on the Discord later, anytime to come over and hang out. Because you just mentioned that on this one as well. Justin says, "Damn you, Lloyd Barnes. Now I'm going to have 52 UV reveals all over my body."
Well, this is the thing. You really can have 52. The beauty of it is that you can reveal one of them and then prove there's no others. So, for example, if I Yeah, so I'm in alternating mode. So say that say I had every letter of the alphabet or symbols on me, I can show that there's nothing on me anywhere. Oh, no, if I'm in the frame even. So I can show there's nothing on me anywhere. Then I can turn it off, or I can have them turn it off, or I can do the secret mode, or have it on its own. And then I can show that the only one they named is there, but the rest are blank. But you can actually have all 52 cards, or what you can do is sort of get people down to just the court cards or something. So you can just have 12 reveals, or just the red court cards written on you. So it's only 6 reveals, which then just makes it easier to like mentally manage and perform. But it's nice because when you have effects with other multiple outs, you can't overprove that those outs don't exist in different places. With this, you can show this is the only out, and if you think I've gotten 52 cards written on me, I don't. You can close your fist to make sure they don't shine in there. But you know what I mean? It's still the same thing. Yeah. But yeah, you genuinely can literally do stuff like that with it. Mr. Mad says, so we can't change the battery. Yeah, you can change the battery. You just unscrew it and then take the battery out and you put the 4 new ones in and back in, and then it'll last you ages.
Larry just says UV tattoos, the possibilities are endless now.
Yeah. What are the parlor stage applications for LUX? This is a great question because it's actually where my head kind of went to off the bat of one of the first things I come up with first, which I don't normally do. But you can do this in like roulette style effects or bank night. Bank night was one of the first ideas I had for this, which I've never performed a bank night effect, but you can have, instead of having things in envelopes, well, you can have it in envelopes if you want, but you could have like a $10 or $500 bills. One says winner, the rest are blank, and you can perform that on parlor or stage and get a huge performance out of it. And you can do. So I think somebody posted that they do it. They've got a chair test idea for this in the group, in the Facebook group. You can do like smash and stab style routine, so you can do them safely. So instead of saying I'm going to smash down, because I know a lot of people don't recommend doing that, you can use the ink to say this is where it is. But luckily, none of us can tell now because it's invisible. So you can take it in that way. And then of course things like the lottery prediction. You can play this as big as you want. You can have the envelope put it with the real printed ticket framed massively on stage with a spotlight on it, do the number selection process, and then go forth from there. Kapal, is the ink gimmick or is the torch? It's the torch is what you're buying. It's a piece of technology that has a circuit board that can do a bunch of different ways of manipulating UV light. The ink is just regular UV ink. You can buy any UV pen. So I'm slowly getting to the end of my comments, I think, here.
Yeah, Scott just says, how hard is it to switch modes? Can it be done on the fly? Yeah, 100%. I mentioned that you mentioned earlier in the video, but you could also, it's literally just, like you said, you're holding down a button and you're looking at a flashing light on it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm nowhere actually near the end of my comments. Let's just skim them because there's too many. So we can change it. It seems better. It's going to use the method of lottery prediction of drawn of a human. They do it a lot. I think I've seen Craig Patty's in the comments, but this is a delay.
Also, too, we will put up the link to the Facebook group should be in the description. So hopefully if you've got any questions or you got some cool routine ideas, go join the Facebook group as well and come hang out there.
So Michael says, what happens to the ink on their arm? Also, can it change on command or do you need to time it? So like you've seen, you can change on command if you hold the light. You can just, you literally press the button, you hold it down so it turns on. Then when you push the button down, you can either have it appear or vanish at your command, or you can have it happen in the spectator's hand with a timing effect. So it's got both. That's if you want to make you can't see the X on your hand, like even up close. You cannot see this ink on your skin. You can't see it unless you use UV. So there's no problem with them looking at it later. If they go to a club, then they have UV lights. They're going to see it. So do what Craig Petty does, which he has the ink jump from them to you back to them, so that it's left on their hand. Or do the ashes on palm effect that Javier teaches, which is load them, draw the mark on yourself, have it vanish from you, and end up on them. So you're completely covered Frederick. Will I go to Blackpool next year? Yep. My favourite band. Stereophonics I used to love. That was probably like Jurassic 5 or something for a band.
But now it's Hilary Duff, right?
You love Hilary Duff. Craig Petty says, "Can I put a prediction on a mint sauce bottle?" Yes, you can, Craig.
I also had someone ask if there's a Craig Petty review coming up.
Yes, there is, and he's got another video coming this week where he performs it live.
There you go.
Different effects as well.
So there you go. Yeah, I just literally had someone ask that just before.
Yeah. Go to Craig Petty's channel. He's in the comments there. You can click on him now. Craig Petty's Magic TV. He's got the best YouTube channel in Magic. Go and check it out. I think he's got a review up there maybe now as well. A review show special.
Yeah. So what is you forward for us? Is a Secret X transfer on the tutorial download? Yep.
Yeah. Scott, I love you too, Scott Nelson. And Frederick, yes, we can meet at Blackpool.
Okay,
Nevio, I answered. What sparked the idea? I did answer that earlier. So if you go through, you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Aman says, "Why did I name it LUX?" So like all my products, I just think of a word that's kind of related to it, and then search it in Latin, and I searched for light in Latin. But there was a bit more to it. It's Latin for light, but it's people don't know that it's light, which is kind of like this. They don't know it's there. They don't know what it. You know what I mean? Like UV is like light they don't know about. So it's kind of like
Because that was part of one of the things in the treasure hunt. We had people saying that was kind of a hint to what it was there, and we actually had someone after the fact go, "Oh, LUX, is that because it means light, ultraviolet, X?"
That's super smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely meant that's why. That's why I called it like that's better than my reason.
I was like, hey, that's a very clever thought of that. But, Pig Cake, hey boys, great work on this.
Pig Cake boy.
I'm just reading. People have got some awesome ideas for this. So
just join in. Congratulate. How many lumens for the bulb for working outdoors in daylight? I don't know. This is from review. I don't know what the lumens are, but we specifically made it work in daylight. So we actually delayed it 6 months to make it bright enough for daylight. Not direct noon, peak of the day sunlight. If there is that, then make a shadow and it'll work. Or what I do is if it's like literally blistering midday sunlight, I just look for where the sun is and I just, if I'll either turn my back on it if it's not directly above me, or I'll just literally use my head, create a small amount of shadow, and then it'll be work. You'll still see it in direct sunlight, it just won't pop like you see it in the first performance in the trailer. Michael says, don't you find it weird that you're using UV ink? It all looks awesome, but isn't used? No, that's the one thing. The justification of this is the one thing that I don't perform using like big dollar coins or anything weird. I'm doing magic. And it's designed to look like a UV, like a cheapy little UV torch. It's one of those things. It's just all I can say is just introduce it, and no one goes, why have you got UV? If I'm carrying playing cards, it's just as strange to them because they're not accustomed with magicians. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of, we've talked earlier in the broadcast about the super convincing justifications you can use for this as well. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm so picky with not introducing weird objects that this is the one thing which people just don't care. They just think it's like they see a good piece of magic and then that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm also responding just to previous messages about certain things in here, and I'm telling people like Caesar asked, "Is there certain pens that are safer to use than others?" So what's the one that you have in here that doesn't have that chemical in it?
The one that ones that don't have that chemical in.
Yeah, what's that chemical that you want people to?
Oh, the chemical to avoid is xylol. 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 That's what it is. Xylol. I actually don't have any issue with the xylol. I don't have any reaction to it.
You might have some people
I have
that might.
eczema, so I have like really sensitive skin. I have no reaction to it at all, and I don't have any issues. And this is like a random one, but there is xylol in this, so we need to make sure it doesn't have it. But in reality, as somebody who has eczema and sensitive skin,
Yeah.
even if you get one with xylol in, and not to say like go and sue me, but I'm saying that when I've used personally xylol ones,
Yeah.
nothing. But just to be careful.
Yeah, if you want, better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
How many tricks would you do in the same set? Yeah, how many tricks would you do in the same set to one group?
I would probably I do it once. Once. Well, the mentalism stuff you can do all of the effects back to back as long as you're not doing visual slow motion stuff. Then the mentalism stuff is just a UV light. But when I do like the moving ink, the moving cross, then I perform it well because it's normally my finale anyway because I can't top that.
Yeah.
In all the magic I performed in all my years, like that's the one. And when I will say with the mentalism, when you cross it with something like Cognito, where you can have them think of something like, well, you can attain what their star sign is without them ever writing it down, saying it, even reading or looking at it, and then you can write it on your palm of your hand covertly. Like, think about that. You meet a stranger, there's no way you could know their star sign because they've never said it, spoken it, typed it, written it, done anything. Yet, at the end of your performance, you say, by the way, I wrote down someone's star sign before I left the house today. You're not Sagittarius, are you? And then you should just... Roman Armstrong says, might be fun putting a cross on all sides of an MD Mini, keeping it on your keychain, and the one colour they name is the one that's crossed out. That's cool. Yep. That would totally work. You can have the silhouette of the celebrity using spray, says William. Yeah, you can. And that's something you mentioned, I think, Beau, wasn't it?
What's up?
You mentioned doing like celebrity burnout effect. What's it called?
No, that wasn't me. There was someone else in the chat that I just read out one of their ideas.
It's a great idea. No, I mean, I'd love to chat on the phone. But yeah. Is there somebody?
Maybe?
I can't remember.
Someone mentioned in the chat before.
Ali Duress said, invisible deck resealed, so cross on the cellophane visually melts into the pack and onto the card.
Oh.
That's amazing. Caleb says, maybe come out with a LUX deck in the future. I'm very much considering it because it makes sense. You can do so much. Could you force Harry Potter with digital force back and have a scar appear on your forehead? Yo, David Peace, that's a great presentation. Or like any film character that has a certain like marking on them that you can replicate. Wow. How do you spell zillion in the correct spelling? Or Xylon. Oh, right. Yeah, Xylol. XYLOL. Mr. Lloyd, can I work for you, please? No, man. What would you want to do?
Yeah.
David Peace, if you have a voodoo doll, someone can pick a body part and stick a needle in the doll wherever you shine the same part of your body, and if timed right, the X appears at the same time. Wow. Mm-hmm. Or you can even have like blood sort of come out of that body, so it looks like instead of an X, it looks like blood.
Yeah.
On the different modes, is it a set delay or 3 seconds, or can the time be adjusted? It's not important. I'm just thinking. So when under your control, you choose when you want it to happen. So when you're holding it and you do the button mode, you choose. And when it's in the spectator's hand, it's timed after 8 to 10 seconds. And I say that because everyone mentally counts it differently in their head. So you just need to test it once or twice and get the timing in your head right. So you've actually got sort of both. Alex, do I glow up now with all the UV ink on me? I do. It's everywhere.
Yeah, you should see Lloyd in the club.
Yeah, it looks like a CSI crime scene. Yeah, will it work on different coloured UV ink? Well, George in the chat, who filmed the explanations earlier, said that he used yellow UV ink and it worked great. So you can use that. Mm-hmm. Is the Secret X transfer on the download? Yes, it is, but I'll tell you like all the different ways to do it. One other way, which is a fun way of doing the Secret X transfer, which isn't the general method, but is to have 2 different looking UV pens, right? Or you can use one. I'll tell you why. You go to someone, can I try this new? Let me draw. I'm going to draw a cross on the back of your hand. You draw a cross and you say, oh, hang on. Oh, this one's dry. Let me switch to a different pen. Oh, actually, we'll use someone else. And then draw the cross on them. And then you can just make it transfer from one to the other. So you've just literally drawn the cross on them because you can show there's no UV. That makes them think that it's a dry pen, and you don't even have to switch the pen. You can pretend to switch the pen for a different one. But that's like a fun method to do if you're in a bind. Brendan Latkovich. So it's light. So it's a. Oh, where's it gone? Did that just disappear? Oh yeah, it did. Yeah. Tink McMahon. So when you vanish the mark from their hand, can they inspect the thing when they ask to see it? Yeah, so they can, because you can turn off the UV. They can inspect it, but you can't see the UV ink on your skin. You just can't. Like, it's annoying because, as you'll see in this broadcast, I forgot where I'd drawn certain things and I couldn't find it. So you can't see the UV ink. So if you give them the pen back, you can set it so they can't see the ink. They won't be able to see it visually. If they go to somewhere that has a UV blacklight, which is rare, like if you're gonna, I don't know how many people like run to nightclubs after seeing a magician, but they will see it. But if you do an effect where the ink ends on their skin, then it's supposed to be there, and you've got no worry. Sorry.
There you go.
Emir Samadrich, I think I said that correctly, has a really valid point, and I need to answer this. How do you do the lottery trick if they stab it with UV and also stabbed in advance? Wouldn't both stab be visible? Yes, and I forgot to mention, for the lottery ticket trick, just get a dried out UV pen. So dry out the UV pen, put some like rubber cement over the end, or like nail varnish, or take the cartridge out, and then just keep that in your wallet. So you never actually need a working UV pen for that trick. But yeah, good spot, because I didn't get that right the first time I started doing it. George said the ink, the formula might also be called xylene on some pens. Yeah. Perfect.
Jordan, is there a Facebook group where people can share ideas?
Yes.
There should be something in the description of these videos if you find that. Or
Facebook, yeah, it's got LUX / early access group. It'll be changed to LUX soon, or LUX by Lloyd soon, or whatever. But yeah, if you're on a desktop, go to facebook.com/groups/ LUX group. One word, no capitals or spaces. Word with missing elements to each letter. UV reveals missing segments, completing the word. That's genius, Magic Seance. You could also take a Sharpie and write parts of letters, so it looks like, hieroglyphics, and then the UV ink fills in the letters to do like a transformation into a word. Brendan says this would work perfectly with a clue routine concept, like the spectator picks the person, murder weapon, and what room, and reveal the X on all of those. Yeah, exactly. Can be stamped, yes. Hand ring with replacement of stamps. Do that. Okay, I think we're at the end of the comments there. Now, I do have some on Instagram. I have quite a lot on Instagram, but I think we've answered most of them. So, shall I?
Yeah, have a quick read through those and see kind of which ones you think. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try and run through them quickly. I know we have. Because
I've been going back to our socials, like on all of our platforms, and seeing what people have to say. But
okay, I'll speed answer these questions. Yeah. How the F did I come up with this? I've answered that in the chat, so I'm not going to go over it again. But I was looking up at Orion's belt, and it was sort of an idea I had, and it all came together in one fleeting moment. Can any person check the LUX pen? Yes, they can examine this until their hearts. They can't take it apart and break it, but they can examine this in the pen to their heart's content. How much LUX would a LUX if a LUX could LUX would? From Rocco Cult. Perseus says, how would you justify UV light in your performance logically? We've answered that a million times. Either I just don't justify it. And the best thing I find about justification with this is to hand it to them. Say, look, this is a UV light. Have a look at it. It's a cheapy little one off, I don't know, a Christmas cracker and a pen. People don't care then. It's like a stacked deck. As soon as you hand it to them, they don't feel, like they just don't care. But as with any effect, you can use it for, like we talked about saying, this is how to like mark ESP cards so that neither of us can see them, but we can prove that they are different later on. So one of the ways of doing that is UV ink, blah, 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 or anything like that. But really, it's overthinking it. Can you perform it straight out of your pocket, or is it some setup? Yep, you can perform most of the effects straight out of your pocket. That was from T Baker Magic. Real Deal Magic. I've seen that there's some people that think this is double cross on steroids. Thoughts. Double cross is incredible. This is just a great addition to it. I think, you know, I don't think one is better than the other. It all depends on your style, your performance. There's like a million different methods for book tests out there. Some methods are better for some performers. You guys know me. I'm all about slow motion visual magic. So I like doing this. For me, what is best for me is the slow motion visual. For other people, they want to do it the other ways. The double cross method. Each to their own. It's just what you prefer. Surf or Mams, is there a stamp method? Why such a large marker? As we've shown, it's actually shorter than a Sharpie. And there's a stamping finger method taught in the tutorial. Refill price, well, $75 for the UV light. The pen is just a normal UV pen. What's the name of the chemical in the LUX ink? It's just UV ink with no. What was the thing that George said? Xylene or xylene?
Yeah, xylene.
Can you make the X? I think he's going to say. Tavan Williams said, "Can you make appear and disappear with light?" Yes. Lord Placebo said, "Is it limited to an X or can you draw anything?" It's the special light that goes between UV and no UV, so it's not projected across. You can draw absolutely anything you like. Can I buy it from third-party shops in Germany? Yeah, I think so. I think most shops around the world have it. Richie Fontaine says, "Is it a timing thing or change under your control?" It's both. You can choose. After what time does the light change? 8 to 10 seconds. I say that because people count 8 to 10 seconds differently, but it doesn't allow those. How much does it cost for the UV ink? It's just, we've covered that. Tell me everything. Another one says, "Tell me everything." Can some effects be done with regular UV light we already own? None of the effects off the project can be done with just a regular UV light. You need this. Does the gimmick need a refill? Nope, only batteries, like once you've finally run out of them. Can you tell me what's inspired? Cover that. How do I come up with it? Cover that. Is it possible to put ink on food and eat it? Stefan Optifoto says, "Is it possible to put ink on food and eat it?" I would not recommend ever eating ink or paint or any chemicals in any way, but I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'm just saying right now, officially, do not eat the UV ink. I would be stupid enough to do it because I eat far worse things on a daily basis, but I wouldn't recommend it so that we can't get sued. How did I get this idea? Covered that. Price $75. How long does the ink last? How many times can it be used, and how long does it stay on the surface? It stays on the surface until you thoroughly wash it off. The pens, mine hasn't run out yet, but it's just normal. Imagine, I'm guessing like a Sharpie, like it runs out. Yeah. It goes. It's about the same size as a Sharpie. The cartridge is about the same size. The ink isn't any thicker. Well, it's probably a bit less thicker than Sharpie, so it probably lasts a bit longer than a Sharpie. Nadav Cupuano says, "Is the gimmick the marker or the UV light?" It's the UV light, which is the gimmick. That's why you can write anything. Covered my favorite routine. Please may I have one. I want to know nothing. I want it in my hands. Does it work with all UV pens? It works with all UV pens. How many routines are on the tutorial? Okay, there's about... George knows. At the moment, there are... Because we're adding more on Monday. I came up with a peak idea yesterday. Javier came up with the minute there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 routines on there at the minute. But each of those routines, you'll see that it's not about like that. It's not like 9 or 10 tricks. It's like, here are the 9 or 10 plots and concepts that you begin to explore with LUX. If that helps.
That helps.
Okay, so you do the last question here?
Yeah, I've literally asked for questions. I haven't got. Only got one. Is any plans on making variations of the UV light design, like a creepy one for Halloween? Not at the moment, but you could do some really cool routines for Halloween with that. That's where I started thinking of a cool routine of like you said, with the devil horns appearing on the pictures of the cards. So definitely go back and check out that routine earlier on. But that's the only last question I have on here.
Yeah. I got one last in the chat here. How close or far can you keep the UV light? I think that's a good question.
Yeah.
So let me show you, because distance, basically, how far until you can see it's not UV. Now, the camera isn't as clear as my eyes, so I'll show you how good I can see it. I hope it may be the same as the camera. It may not be. So let me just get a closer view. We've got the smiley face. Do that there, so I can see that. What's the best way to show? I'll come back a bit. Maybe you guys can still. Can you see that on the camera, or is it too? Is the
Slightly,
light exposed?
Yeah. I think you got that. No, I can't see anything now.
So yeah, so I'm about. I'd call that 2 inches. that's about 1.5 foot distance away before it becomes sort of invisible. But then, see, when I've created a shadow away from the light.
Yeah, you like.
So that distance, when there's a small shadow, as opposed to a direct ring light aiming straight at the UV.
Yeah.
But even then, that was a good 1.5 foot distance, which, like, you're doing this on people's arms and on, within a few inches. But that was a great question.
Adam just asked, can the UV work on glass windows? Which I guess leads to, is there a surface that you have found that this hasn't worked on? So assuming it work on glass windows, is there something you have found it doesn't work on?
I tried it on glass and it's not. I think it leaves. I think glass you can see
residue.
Small residue. Let me try this. I'll put like.
Yeah, great question, Adam. Everyone in the chat's saying like, Adam, great question.
Hang on. No. Right, how clear is that? There's nothing there.
Yeah, I don't even know where it is.
Right, let me see. Let me put on UV mode. Oh, which there? Right, I can see. It might be better if there's something black behind it. There. You see it? The UV line?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see the UV line at the top of the box there on the video.
I think it's probably better if I got something like black behind it to show off the line. There.
Yeah, if you do it on a window or something, right?
Hold on. Yeah, let me try this.
And you also got the light, the ring light reflection.
Okay, can you see the UV light there?
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing this back to front, so I can't see I can't. Do I need to go left or right?
Yeah, no, you're getting it showing up there.
Is it showing up? I can't see.
Yeah, there.
But
you see it? If everyone's watching on the top of where the tuck sticker is, the seal.
It's hard. It's really
easy
to see here, but I think that's testament to how clear the ink is.
I look like a weirdo because I'm doing this as well to try and look on the screen to see if I can see it. I can't see.
I didn't know the answer to that question until recently. It's a long story. I'll go into it another time. But yeah, so that, I mean, look how close you can.
Yeah, I can't. Is there any residue on that?
Yeah, because that's the way I think I put it. You can't see the residue, but you can.
No, that's what I'm trying to look for.
Yeah, no. It's. Can you see that UV line? Maybe I should put like more UV on it or something. And like a.
Oh no, you can see it. It's more so just the ring light is creating that
Let me try
reflection.
This. Hang on. Right, remember the orientation of this. Okay, so it doesn't like stick. So you can see the UV there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep.
So now, look how clear that is.
Yeah, fair.
But it doesn't like come off, like, it doesn't show super thick though either.
How about using a marked coin with a bottle?
So what would the effect be?
I don't know. Just how about using a marked coin? I assume it would work on coins then too, right? Does it rub off on coins easy?
It rubs off easy, but you still can do it. So if you rub it, I'm doing it on a coin now. So if you try to rub it off, it'll come off.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows up really nice on a Sharpie, on a coin.
Oh yeah.
Where am I going? Which direction? I can't see.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm looking in the right way. It is if I tell you the wrong way.
Am I doing this right?
While you play with that, I'll let Sean know this. Sean asked a question about shipping. It is in pre-order right now, Sean. So if you order it from your favorite UK or US magic store, they will start shipping to them within the week, and then should be shipped straight after that. once they're officially launched.
Alex Bow says, how could I ever top this trick, Lloyd? I can't. I genuinely can't. I don't think I can.
Now Lloyd's now announcing he's officially retiring from Magic right now.
Yeah, I've just knocked out Dillian White in round 6 in Wembley in front of 94,000 people. Also created LUX in the same day.
No.
No, I don't know, man. I don't think I can top this. I got some ideas, but
Yeah.
I don't want to. I really love it.
Yeah.
I really love it.
Perfect.
Guys, what a fun
Great.
stream.
Well, yeah, thanks so much everyone for coming and hanging out. That's really cool.
And I want to say, I don't normally, you guys hopefully should know me by now, I don't normally talk about my stuff so confidently and talk so much about things, but, you know.
Yeah, normally it was things that kept pretty tight and secretive, like with the reveals, but I think it's kind of, this needed to be kind of mentioned about because there was a bit of uncertainty of how what the gimmick was here, so thanks for coming on and kind of sharing that with us, Lloyd.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for coming on my Sunday session.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're also live on my channel right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So thank you for coming on my Sunday session. To everyone watching at my Sunday session, we'll be back here on Sunday, as you always know, every Sunday, live at 5 UK time. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday for some more magic goodness. And
Perfect. And everyone watching our YouTube channel, take that in mind. Go subscribe to Lloyd.
And subscribe to us at Murphy's too.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for
watching.
Thanks,
guys. Bye-bye.
Have a great Sunday.
Bye.
Bye. I'm just going to wait for all that to go